Alrighty. Hello there again. Welcome back to the Transformation Journey Roadmap. We're now in stage 3. Gather your inner allies in lesson 1. Explore yourself as a primary ally. So, just that reminder about how challenging inner edges are. The places where your old life and identities are over, but you do not yet know who you're becoming nor where you're going. And this is a really delicate place in an inner journey, in a transformation journey, because it can be so challenging and scary when you're not yourself anymore, that your old habitual selves, particularly your inner protectors that we talked about in stage 1 and we'll continue to talk about, they get really nervous and say, no, 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 don't try to change, just go back to the way you were. And what happens is we all feel that when we make that choice. If we have to make that choice, we collapse into a too small life. So, giving you strength, support, practices, encouragement, way showing, so that you can bear to stand, be at the edges of interchange until you grow enough into the new one that you're becoming. And that can take some time. So, challenges at the inner edges. So here's our transformation journey roadmap with the 6 stages guiding us to navigate the edges of change. We're in stage 3 now. And as I said before, I'm in this course, I'm taking you through in sequence. You go wherever is right for you to go, and you'll know, kind of like, I need to hang out in stage 3 for a while, Sheila. That's fine. So, and again, this is designed, the course for visionaries. And for me, that's you, that's me. And we have unusual foresight and imagination. We have acute sensitivity and empathetic abilities. And most of us have never been lovingly and strongly trained in how to carry our empathetic nature in our world and in our relationships, especially. And we end up having those painful experiences of being an empathetic sponge, being overwhelmed because we're picking up so much from other people or the world or nature. So, how to carry your sensitivity, your visionary intuitive nature in an empowered way so that your foresight and imagination can be available for you in the world. So, stage 3, gather your inner allies. In this stage, you cultivate self healing with your inner resources. It's an inside job. So here's stage 3, lesson 1, our learning outcomes. Get an introduction to stage 3. Recognize your inner ecosystem and you as ally. Understand the purpose of what we call your wholeness allies and acknowledge the need to get the keys to your car. All right. Who needs to be driving your car, right? And complete gather inner allies practice number 1. So, stage 3, this is your stage when you know that you need to access inner resources for self healing. There's just a knowing about that. You're ready to deepen sustainable relationships with inner allies. You want to call on inner resources and parts of you that have the courage, strength, and love to help you. You're willing to develop your 4 ways of knowing so that you can be an ally for yourself. We're continuing to work with the 4 ways of knowing throughout the Transformation Journey Roadmap. And you'll engage with the Wild Mind map to cultivate self-healing and wholeness. You'll learn more about that map in this lesson. So remember that you carry many, many selves within you. That extraordinary diversity of our inner family. Walt Whitman reminds us, I am large, I contain multitudes. We are so much more than we think we are. Now, how do you gather your inner allies to you? It starts with being present to the ecosystem of yourself and deepens as you cultivate generative care for all in your ecosystem. Now, an ecosystem is a community of animate beings that work together. Within you, just as in nature, everything is interconnected and belongs in your ecosystem, the deep democracy we explored with process work in the last stage. A healthy ecosystem has lots of species diversity. Every species has a niche in its ecosystem that helps keep the system healthy. Your unique inner ecosystem holds all your diverse species, those are your inner figures, as well as your landscapes. You know yourself. You are not one flavor fits all. You're not just vanilla. I mean, you have not only a whole bunch of species diversity, lots of characters inside of you. You also have lots of landscapes, you have lots of weather, you have lots of experiences. You are a really amazing inner ecosystem. And every one of you and every part of you belongs. So remember that you have whole as well as wounded inner figures. That's human nature. All of us have that. I'm reminded of a beloved teacher of mine, Angelus Arian, used to say, we all come from the Scar clan. We all come from the Scar clan, that just humanity, human experience of having painful, wounded parts and then also whole parts. So to be a good steward of your ecosystem, you need to track who's driving the car. You are the pilot of your own life. Don't let anyone steal your seat. You have to track who's driving your life. Otherwise, some of your protectors, remember the inner protectors trying to keep you small, safe, and invisible, they'll grab the keys and become the autopilot. And then you're just in that small rondo of not really fully being who you are because you're hiding from your life because the protectors have got a hold of the keys and they're flying the plane or think they are. The protectors, the habitual inner stoppers, will keep rehearsing their limiting stories about you to keep you small and safe so you will fit in. The protectors try to stop you from expressing the parts of you that were too dangerous to express as a child. I always say they have many muzzles and many leashes because they feel like that's what they're supposed to do. Make sure everybody in your boat is rowing and not drilling holes when you're not looking. That's often the experience I have with my inner protectors. I'm like, why am I not getting anywhere? The boat's supposed to be going. Oh, there's a bunch of holes in the back that my protectors have been working on to make holes so I can't get anywhere. I can't move forward. I can't grow. I can't take risks. Make sure everyone in your boat is rowing and not drilling holes when you're not looking. And remember that the inner protectors are trying to protect your vulnerable young ones. They're on duty. They think they're doing the right thing. Okay. But your protectors are out of sync with the times because you're not a child anymore. You're an adult. You have more resources, capacities, and life experience than you had as a child. Your basket has a lot in it, a lot of inner and outer resources. You can successfully navigate the difficult places and situations that you couldn't do as a child. You got this. Unless you have experienced unhealed trauma, and if so, it's essential to get external support to heal with a therapist, a counselor, a healer, or group support. And to just know that because you don't want to push yourself over the edge. That does not serve. You want to love yourself, care for yourself, resource yourself. And especially if you have experienced unhealed trauma, make sure you get the support that is right for you. Recognize that your limiting protectors are actually wounded parts of you that need compassionate support. It is your inner wholeness allies, not your protectors, in quotation marks, who can truly offer loving and healing support to your wounded inner figures. It's like, yeah, love yourself. It's the ones of you that can love you, okay? You can connect to your inner wholeness allies who are inner resources for you. You have many of them. You just probably have not connected with them or know they're there or cultivated them. When you go underneath your strategic mind, remember that binary mind that's always in constant yes, no, good, bad, crazy, crazy mind. When you go underneath, your strategic mind and connect with your four ways of knowing, you are your own core inner wholeness ally. It starts at home. You're the biggest wholeness ally of all, yourself. Okay. So here's gather inner allies practice number one. You're going to do a window of wisdom's deep imagery journey to get the keys back from a primary protector. Okay, give me those keys, baby. All right. So pause the video now and do the guided journey, the window of wisdom journey to get the keys back. And as before, you'll find the audio there right on the platform. Pause the video, go listen to the audio, do the guided journey, take time for reflection, and then come back and finish the video when you're done. Wonderful. Thank you for doing the window of wisdom journey to get the keys back. You might notice how it feels to take back the keys to your car and pilot your own plane. And recognize that this kind of process of taking the keys back, metaphorically, needs to happen many times. Most of us have had decades of survival strategies that our inner protectors have created with us to keep us safe and small. So, one simple journey usually is not all it takes to get the keys back, but it's a start. And mostly to support you recognizing that as you come from more wholeness, from the full participation of all your ways of knowing, your major ways of knowing, it's a place of wholeness in relationship to a wounded, fragmented inner protector. It's from your place of strength, and you are honoring their part of you. You're the one that needs to be piloting your life. So you are your best inner ally, and you've completed your first Gather Inner Allies practice. Stage 3, Lesson 1, you've completed these learning outcomes. You got an introduction to Stage 3. You recognized your inner ecosystem and you as ally, understood the purpose of your wholeness allies, and acknowledged the need to get the keys to your car. And you completed Gather Inner Allies practice number 1. Okay, so in Lesson 2, you'll connect with a North Wholeness ally. When you're ready, come on in to Lesson 2 and we'll go north.